There was once a young man named Ryan who lived in a small town in Oregon. Though his life was not marked by major struggles, he often felt an unshakable dissatisfaction. Every day he compared himself to others, convinced they had better lives, more success, and greater happiness than he did. These thoughts weighed heavily on him until one crisp morning, unable to shake his frustration, he decided to take a long walk through the forest. The tall pines swayed gently in the breeze, and the sound of a creek bubbling nearby offered a rare moment of peace. Ryan sat on a large rock by the creek, buried his face in his hands, and let out a deep sigh. For the first time in a while, he let his tears fall freely. Unbeknownst to him, an elderly man named Mr. Edwards had been watching from a distance. Known for his wisdom and gentle demeanor, Mr. Edwards often walked the forest paths with a book in hand. Seeing Ryan's sorrow, he approached and asked softly, "What troubles you, young man?" Startled but comforted by Mr. Edwards' kind tone, Ryan replied, "I just feel stuck. My life feels so miserable. Everyone else seems happier and more successful than I am. I don't understand why my life can't be like theirs." Mr. Edwards sat beside Ryan and looked at him with knowing eyes. "What if you could trade lives with anyone? Who would you choose?" Ryan paused to think, wiping away his tears. "I've always admired Mason, the guy who owns the coffee shop downtown. Everyone loves him. He's always smiling, and his life seems so perfect." Mr. Edwards smiled knowingly. "That's a fine choice. But before I help you trade places, why don't you visit Mason and ask him if he's truly happy? Then come back and tell me what you find." Though skeptical, Ryan agreed. The next day, he visited Mason's cozy coffee shop, bustling with customers. After waiting for a break in the action, Ryan approached Mason and asked, "Mason, you seem so happy and successful. Are you really content with your life?" Mason chuckled and wiped his hands on a towel. "Ryan, I do enjoy running this shop, but it's not as perfect as it seems. The long hours, the stress of managing everything, it's a lot to handle. To be honest, I envy my sister Chloe. She travels the world, living a carefree life. I think she's the happiest person I know." Curious, Ryan sought out Chloe, who had just returned to town for a brief visit. She was surrounded by suitcases, preparing for her next adventure. After hearing Mason's perspective, Ryan asked, "Chloe, your brother says you're the happiest person he knows. Is that true?" Chloe gave a wistful smile. "I suppose it might look that way, but constant travel can be lonely. I miss having a home and a steady routine. I envy our cousin Emily. She has a beautiful house, a loving family, and stability. That's the kind of life I dream about." Determined to uncover the secret to happiness, Ryan paid a visit to Emily's home. She greeted him warmly, her young children playing in the yard, and the aroma of freshly baked cookies wafting from the kitchen. After explaining what Chloe had said, Ryan asked, "Emily, with your wonderful life, you must be the happiest person in the world, right?" Emily's smile faltered slightly. "I'm grateful for my blessings, Ryan, but it's not as perfect as it seems. There's a lot of responsibility that comes with this life, and it can feel overwhelming. Sometimes I dream of being free to explore the world like Chloe, or having the simplicity of Mason's coffee shop. Everyone has their challenges." Confused yet enlightened, Ryan returned to the forest to find Mr. Edwards. Sitting under the same tree, the old man looked up from his book as Ryan approached. "Well," Mr. Edwards asked, "what did you discover?" Ryan sat beside him, shaking his head. "It seems that no one is as happy as I thought. Everyone envies someone else's life, but they all have their struggles." Mr. Edwards nodded, his eyes twinkling. "Exactly, Ryan. The trouble is, people often believe the grass is greener on the other side. They see only the surface of others' lives and assume it's perfect. But everyone has challenges they face, even if you can't see them. Happiness isn't found in comparisons. It's found in gratitude for what you already have." Ryan let those words sink in. "So it's not about wishing for someone else's life, it's about finding joy in my own?" Mr. Edwards smiled. you're beginning to understand. When you focus on your own journey and appreciate the blessings in your life, you'll find contentment. And when challenges come, as they always do, face them with courage, knowing that struggles are part of everyone's story. For the first time, Ryan felt a weight lift from his heart. He thought about the friends who cared for him, the opportunities he had yet to explore, and the simple joys he had overlooked, like the beauty of the forest around him. This story reminds us of an important truth. The grass may seem greener on the other side, but every life has its own trials and triumphs. True happiness lies not in comparisons, but in appreciating and nurturing the blessings we already have. If you've ever experienced similar stories in your life, don't hesitate to share your thoughts or experiences in the comments below. We would love to hear your story.